Show me a film. I want to see a film.
If you haven't watched the movie 1917, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's a cinematic masterpiece, for crying out loud. You should go see it. Well, this film is brought to you by the same guys. I feel like Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins went behind my back and made this small but beautiful film. They just didn't tell anyone. I didn't even see any trailers for it. Well, I searched for a trailer. Well, I didn't search for a trailer. I was going through YouTube and then I saw a trailer and I was just like, oh, the hell is this? And I clicked on it and it was this movie and I went and saw it. At first, I thought this movie was about the beauties of cinema, but it is far removed from that. I mean, there is a very small aspect of that, but it has nothing to do with this film at all.
Amazing. It is amazing. Because it's just static frames with darkness in between.
So if you're like one of those people who didn't hear anything about this film and you're thinking, I'm going to go online or YouTube and find someone who has seen this film and wants to talk about it, well, I am that somebody. And let's talk about it. So I'm going to be talking about this film today in an essay-like format. So, stick around. It's actually pretty good. There are spoilers, just so you know. Anyone who loves films as much as I do doesn't need a review to know that the Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins combo on Empire of Light means that this film is going to be brilliant and you should watch it. If not for subject matter, at least for cinematic epicness. This one applies to filmmakers or film enthusiasts, but don't let it stop you from watching this review. So take a seat and join me while I gush on about Empire of Light. I'm going to jump in and rate this movie 8 out of 10, mainly because it's a good film, but it does not need to be made. But I'm glad it exists, and the cinematography is just fantastic, and I, as a cinematographer, would love to tell other people about it. This film feels, well, I don't have a movie to compare it to, but what I will say is it feels like a warm cup of coffee in a countryside. It's a masterpiece based in an area. So the area plays as much of a character as the actual characters in this film. So I hope that helps you. It feels nice. The film feels nice. That's all I'm saying. It feels nice. You watch it and you're like, oh, this is nice. This is Sam Mendes' debut at screenwriting. He's already a talented and successful director of such movies as Revolutionary Road, 1917, which I talked about at the beginning of this video, as well as Skyfall. The Skyfall, that's just, Skyfall is so beautiful. It's probably one of the best Bonds out there because it feels like an indie film, but with epic visuals. And that's just to name a few. Mendes has heavily based the lead character Hilary Small, played by the wonderful Olivia Colman, on his actual mother. So this is a personal movie to him. So probably that's why it feels kind of warm and it feels like a familiar place. You see, like his mother, Hilary suffers from a mental illness. And we see very early on in the film, Hilary is prescribed lithium for her mental illness. And she's also at the same time figuring out how to function in a male-dominated world while also staying quiet and under the radar. Like Mendes' mom, Valerie is her name, while medicated, Hilary is manipulated by the men in her world. Her doctor, who demeans her with comments about her weight, or by her selfish and manipulative boss, Mr. Ellis, who played by the wonderful Colin Firth, who uses Hilary's submissive state for sexual favors. Also, that sexual favor looks really weird on screen. You're warned. And he's also married, so, Then walks in Stephen, who's a nice, young, black British hunk of a man, who is the new employee, played by Michael Ward. He's from Top Boy, if you ever watched Top Boy on Netflix. Very early on, Stephen charms Hilary with his sensitivity and his smile that looks like Tyrese Gibson. He was a very different character to many of men in her life. So it's kind of like a breath of fresh air for her. We watch through the cinematic beauty delivered by Roger Deakins as their lives evolve. Hilary stops taking her lithium. Stephen faces violent acts of racism, which was rampant in the UK at the time, which was 1980s. And unfortunately, this still happens in many places, even today. While they both work at the beautiful and historic Seaside Cinema. called Empire. Hillary, like Mendez's mother, comes off her medication, and at first, she's strong, she's powerful, she's confident, but then she quickly declines and finds herself in a psychotic state and is admitted into hospital again. There are a lot of messages in this film, and it tends to lose focus sometimes, but I invite you to enjoy this film and take from it what you wish, even if it's just a short escape from your actual reality. Should you watch this film? I think you should watch this film. It's not a film for everyone because it's quite slow paced. It's got a fair amount of dialogue, but it's a beautiful film, which is expected because the cinematographer is Roger Deakins. But I don't see this film being for everyone, so I'm sure it's gonna flop in cinemas, but I'm sure that most people who like films or film enthusiasts will always refer back to this film for how pretty all the scenes were. And that's my 2 cents. Thanks for staying all the way to the end of this video.